You're sitting at a holiday dinner table, and the air is thick with unspoken rules.
Someone makes a comment, a familiar jab disguised as a joke, and you feel that old familiar knot tighten in your stomach.
You look around the table and realize that no one else seems to, or if they do, they've chosen silence.
In that moment, you feel completely invisible.
Or maybe it's a phone call, one where you try to explain your feelings only to be met with defensiveness and denial. Your reality is questioned, your pain is minimized, and you hang up the phone feeling more alone than before you called. These are the moments that don't look dramatic from the outside, but feel like the final crack in a foundation that has been crumbling for years. It begs an impossible question. We are told that family is supposed to be your safe harbor. But what do you do when the harbor is the storm? This question is at the heart of one of the most painful decisions a person can make. The decision to finally cut off contact with your family. If you have ever faced this choice or are grappling with it now, you know it's not a decision made lightly. It's a choice often born from a deep need for survival. And this video is for you. The societal narrative tells us that family is everything, and that cutting ties is the ultimate act of betrayal. It's a story that paints you as cold, unforgiving, or selfish. But that narrative is dangerously incomplete. It ignores the silent, slow erosion of self that happens in environments where love is conditional, respect is absent, and safety is just a word. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the psychology of this decision. This is not about blame. It's about understanding. We'll explore the deep psychological reasons that make estrangement, for many, an act of profound self-preservation. We're going to journey from understanding the why behind the pain to learning how to navigate the complex road of healing that comes after. We will look at the foundational wounds that set the stage for this break. But what is the psychological tipping point that pushes someone to make this final decision? We will deconstruct that exact moment to find the answer. You deserve clarity for your confusion and validation for your pain. The story society tells is wrong. You aren't breaking a family. You are likely trying to break a cycle. And that is a world of difference. So to really understand this, we need to go back, not just to the last argument, but to the very beginning. Let's start with a concept from psychology called attachment theory. Simply put, this theory explains how our earliest bonds with caregivers shape our entire relational blueprint for life. When a child's needs for safety, connection, and emotional support are met consistently, they develop a secure attachment. They learn that relationships are safe and that they can trust others and themselves. But for many, this isn't the reality. When a caregiver is inconsistent, neglectful, or emotionally unavailable, a child develops an insecure attachment. They learn that love is something to be earned, that their needs are a burden, or that closeness is dangerous. This creates a fundamental wound. Think of it this way. You can't blame a plant for failing to grow in toxic soil. You can give it sunlight and water, but if the soil itself is contaminated, the plant will wither. It isn't the plant's fault. For years, you may have been that plant, trying desperately to grow in an environment that simply couldn't nourish you. The family environment, the emotional soil, was compromised from the start. Imagine a young woman who grows up in a home where every achievement is met with, "That's nice, but your brother got a higher score." Her successes are never quite enough.
When she feels sad, she's told she's too sensitive. Her emotional needs are dismissed as a character flaw.
For years, she believes something is wrong with her. She tries harder, gets better grades, and is more accommodating, all in the hope of finally feeling seen and loved unconditionally.
But the goalposts always move.
The problem isn't her effort, it's the environment. This foundation of insecure attachment and an emotionally barren environment is the dry kindling waiting for a spark. It sets the stage for a lifetime of relational patterns where you feel responsible for managing everyone else's emotions. You might feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, or that you're only valued for what you can provide, not for who you are. This deep-seated pattern is exhausting, and this exhaustion is a critical component of the decision to step away.
Understanding this foundation is crucial.
But understanding the foundation is one thing. Knowing how to rebuild on top of it is the real challenge. And later in the video, I will give you a practical blueprint for how to do just that. This isn't just about childhood. It's about how that childhood programming plays out in adulthood. And that leads us to the next, equally painful piece of the puzzle, the breaking point. Estrangement rarely happens because of a single, isolated incident. More often, it's the result of what psychologists sometimes call a death by 1,000 cuts. It's the endless stream of small hurts, boundary violations, and moments of dismissal that accumulate over decades. Each one on its own might seem manageable, even forgettable. You're told that's just how they are, or you should just let it go. But together, these cuts bleed you dry. This ties into another powerful concept, which is role fatigue. In many family systems, individuals are assigned unspoken roles. Maybe you were the scapegoat, the one who was always blamed for the family's problems. Or perhaps you were the peacekeeper, constantly working to manage conflicts and soothe egos, sacrificing your own needs in the process. There's also the overachiever who learns their worth is tied directly to their success. Playing these roles is exhausting, and at some point you simply run out of energy. The breaking point is where the pain of staying becomes greater than the fear of leaving. Let me give you two different pictures of how this can happen. First, there's the slow burn. This is the person who spends years in therapy, reading books, and slowly awakening to the reality of their family dynamic. There's no single dramatic fight. Instead, it's a quiet, dawning realization that every interaction follows the same toxic script. They try to set a boundary, it gets trampled. They try to have an honest conversation, it gets turned around on them. The decision to go no contact comes not from anger, but from a place of profound sadness and acceptance that the relationship they long for will never exist. It's a final, quiet retreat to save themselves. Then there's the explosive event. This is where one incident becomes symbolic of the entire dysfunctional dynamic. It could be a public humiliation at a wedding, a cruel betrayal of trust, or a shocking refusal to show up during a major life crisis. The event itself is the final cut, but it lands on a body already covered in 1,000 other wounds. It's the moment the peacekeeper realizes their diplomacy will never bring peace, or the scapegoat realizes they will never be seen as anything but the problem. The reaction is swift and decisive. It's a sudden and total withdrawal, a primal scream of "no more." This is the psychological tipping point we talked about earlier. Whether it's a slow erosion or a sudden earthquake, the outcome is the same. A person decides that their own mental and emotional survival is no longer up for negotiation. If any of this sounds familiar, if you've felt that slow burn or lived through that earthquake, I need you to hear this.
You are not overreacting.
You are finally reacting. You were reacting to a system, a pattern that was unsustainable. Your response was not the problem. It was the solution to a problem you didn't create. Once the decision is made, a strange and confusing new chapter begins. This is the aftermath, a landscape of conflicting emotions that few people talk about honestly. First, there's grief. But it's a very specific kind of grief. It's often not for the family you had, but for the family you wish you had. It's mourning the dream of unconditional love, of supportive parents, of holidays that feel joyful instead of performative. This grief is the acceptance that the hope you carried for so long, the hope that things would one day change, is now gone. And that is a profound loss. Alongside grief comes its twisted cousin, guilt. Guilt is often a conditioned response, a button that was installed in you from a very young age. You were taught that prioritizing your own needs was selfish. So when you finally do the ultimate act of prioritizing your well-being, that guilt alarm screams. It feels real, but it's important to recognize it as a programmed reaction, not necessarily a reflection of wrongdoing. Then comes the social isolation. Imagine telling a well-meaning friend about your decision. But she's your mother, or life is too short to hold grudges. They mean well, but their words feel like tiny paper cuts on your already wounded soul. They can't see the lifetime of context that led you here. This is why so many people in your position feel profoundly alone. They are grieving a loss that society refuses to acknowledge as legitimate. But there's one more emotion in this complicated cocktail that we must talk about. Relief. That quiet sense of peace when the phone doesn't ring with another demand or criticism. The freedom of not having to brace for impact before a family gathering. This relief is often followed by a wave of guilt, as if you're a bad person for feeling good about the distance. But I want to offer you a different perspective. It is okay if part of your grief is relief. That relief is data. It's your nervous system telling you that it's finally out of fight or flight mode. It's your soul telling you that it can finally breathe. Acknowledging that peace doesn't make you a monster. It makes you human. It's evidence that you made a choice that, however painful, was necessary for your own well-being. The existence of relief alongside grief and guilt doesn't make your love for them any less real. It just makes your pain that much more valid. If this conversation is resonating with you, and you see yourself as a cycle breaker on a journey to build a healthier life, consider subscribing. We have these conversations here all the time. You are not alone in this. Now, back to our discussion. Now, let's do something a little different, something that many discussions on this topic avoid. To fully understand our own journey, it can be helpful to understand the entire landscape. Let's briefly and compassionately look at this from the other side. For the family members who are cut off, the experience is often one of profound confusion, hurt, and helplessness. They may genuinely not understand what they did wrong. This is especially true in families where emotional intelligence is low and problems are systematically ignored. From their perspective, your withdrawal can feel like a sudden and cruel punishment for an unknown crime. They may lack the self-awareness to see how their pattern of small cuts created a mortal wound.
They might remember the good times, the family vacations, the moments of laughter, and be utterly baffled by your pain.
They might ask friends and relatives, "What did we do?" and genuinely feel like the victims. Now, acknowledging their pain does not invalidate yours. It doesn't erase the abuse, the neglect, or the dysfunction. It simply adds a layer of tragic complexity to the situation. It shows that generational trauma creates wounds on all sides. Sometimes people who are toxic don't know they are holding poison, and your decision to step away might be the only thing that protects you from it. Understanding this can sometimes soften the anger, replacing it with a sad, detached empathy. It doesn't change your path, but it can make the journey a little lighter. Understanding all of this is crucial, but understanding without action can keep us stuck. So, what do we do now? Let's get practical with a 3-step blueprint for healing. Step 1 is the detox period. This is about creating a space of quiet so your nervous system can finally calm down. It means muting conversations, blocking numbers if you must, and giving yourself permission to not engage with guilt-tripping messages or flying monkeys. This isn't about punishment, it's about creating a clean emotional environment for the first time. Step 2 is actively reparenting yourself. This means you start giving yourself the validation, safety, and unconditional love you never received. When you feel that conditioned guilt, you can say to yourself, "It's okay to put my needs first." When you feel grief, you allow yourself to feel it without judgment. You become the compassionate, stable parent you always needed. This is how you begin to heal that foundational attachment wound we talked about. Step 3 is finding your chosen family. Estrangement creates a void, and it is vital to fill that void with healthy, reciprocal relationships. This could be a few close friends, a partner, a support group, or a mentor. These are the people who see you, respect your boundaries, and love you for who you are, not for the role you play. They become your new harbor, one that is actually safe. This is the practical blueprint for rebuilding we mentioned earlier. It's not easy, and it's not fast, but it is the path forward. Of course, a crucial part of this journey can be seeking professional help. A good therapist can provide a safe space to process these complex feelings and guide you through this process. It is a powerful tool for healing. So let's bring all of this together. We've seen how early attachment wounds create a fragile foundation. We've deconstructed the breaking point, the death by 1,000 cuts and role fatigue that leads to the final decision. We've sat with the complicated aftermath of grief, guilt, and the profound relief that signals a necessary change. And we've laid out a path forward, a way to start healing and building a life on your own terms. Remember that feeling from the beginning of being adrift in a harbor that was supposed to be safe, but was actually the storm? By making this impossible choice, you have finally steered yourself to shore. The shore might feel empty at first. It might be quiet and unfamiliar, but it is solid ground. It is a place where you can finally rest, and from where you can begin to build. Choosing to save yourself is not selfish. It is survival. And remember, family estrangement is not about hate. It's the final, desperate act of self-love. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. If this conversation resonated, I'd be honored if you subscribe to the channel for more content on healing and building a life of peace. More importantly, consider sharing your own experience in the comments below if you feel safe to do so. Your story might be the one that makes someone else feel a little less alone. And if you're ready to take the next step, check out our video on how to set boundaries that actually work.
Be kind to yourself.